Hey everyone, I want to talk to you about this word problem. We have Abraham who printed 10 pages each day. He had 5 pages printed before he started counting, and we need to create a table, graph, and an equation to represent this situation. So I'm going to start with the table. And so we're going to, in the table, put in the number of pages and the number of days. So we've got days, and I'm going to call days X and pages Y. So first we're going to start with, well, how many pages did he have at 0 days? And that's before he even started. And they told us he had 5 pages before he even started. Now, after 1 day, he's going to have those 5 original pages, plus he's going to print 10 new pages. So after 1 day, he'll have 15 pages. After 2 days, he's going to have the 15 pages that he's already printed, plus another 10 pages. So he's going to have 25. After 3 days, he's going to have those 25 pages that he's already printed, plus another 10 to get 35. And we can keep going. After 4 days, he'll have the previous 35 plus another 10. And even after 5 days, he'll have that 45 from before plus another 10. And so that's enough information that now we can put it into a graph. We're going to go to Desmos.com to put these points into a graph. All right, so our first point we said was at day 0, we had 5 pages. And we'll go ahead and click on label it so we can see it on the graph. Now let's go back to our table. And recall, I called days X and pages Y. And so we can write all of our points as X comma Y, X comma Y, X comma Y, and so forth and so forth. So this is how we're going to put all of our points into Desmos so that it will graph correctly. So we're going to go back over to Desmos and put in our points. You might need to shift the graph around so you can see all the points. So after 1 day, he had 15 pages. After 2 days, he had 25 pages. And notice that these points are not showing up, but notice that I don't have my y-axis stops at 6. So I'm going to need to click and drag it down. I may need to zoom out. And just check your points to make sure your X's are going up by 1 every time and your Y's are going up by 10 every time. And just kind of zoom out until you see it. So we've got 0, 5, 115, 225, 335. We also had 4, 45, and 5, 55. And we click on label, and there are our points. So that's the start of our graph. Now let's go back to our table. So this is our table. These are our points. And now we need to create an equation. So when we are creating equations, we're going to use the form y equals mx plus b. M is called our slope, our rate of change, or change in y divided by change in x. So in this case, another way to think of it is how far up divided by how far right. So when we go back to our graph, we're looking how far up do we go from one point to the next. So to get from this first point, 0, 5 to 1, 5, from our red point to our blue point, we go up 10 spots. Our 5, we add 10 to it, we go up by 10, and we go right 1 because we go 0 to 1. And from our blue point to our green point, we also go up another 10 and right 1. From our blue to our purple, we go up 10, right 1, because to go from 25 to 35, it's 10. From 2 to 3, it's 1. So notice each one of these, you add 10 to the y value and 1 to the x value. So to find that slope, what we're saying is we are going up by 10 each time, and right by 1. So that means our slope, or m, equals 10 divided by 1. And anything divided by itself is just itself. Next, we need to find what the v is in the equation. V is called the y-intercept. It's the y value when x equals 0. So this one is a little easier. We can look at our table. And when we look at our table, we're looking for when is x equal to 0. And in this case, it was when we had 5 pages. It's our starting point. It's what we started with before we had anything. So in this case, we started with 5 pages. So that means our b equals 0 because we have the point 0, 5, and that 5 is what we're using. So this 5 is our y-intercept. And now to put it all together, we have this formula y equals mx plus b, and we have found our m, we've found our b, so we're going to put it all together, and we'll replace m with that 10 that we found, and we'll replace our b with our 5. So now we're going to go put this y equals 10x plus 5 into Desmos. So y equals 10x plus 5. And notice how as soon as we graph it, all of those points we put fell onto the line. That's a good sign that we graphed it correctly. So the last thing you want to do is click on this share graph button. If you click on embed and copy that code, we can put it directly in the discussion post. So we'll come over to D2L. You'll open up your discussion thread. You'll go to this button with it's called the insert stuff. And if you go to enter embed code and paste that embed code here. Let's see if it'll work. It might not work. You might just have to, okay, if it doesn't work, then go back to Desmos, click on share, and just copy the link. And you can post it in there, or you can copy your graph and put it in. So once you have that graph, if the embed code works, awesome. If not, give us the link to your graph, and then copy and paste your table and equation. So if you did it in Paint like I did, I would just come over to Paint. And I would just save it somewhere. And then go back over to the discussion post. And then you can click on this insert image. Go to my computer, find wherever you saved it. Store in course files, click on add. Kristen's discussion post. And then here it will include your table and your work. And just make sure your equation's clear. You might even want to just write it in one more time. Y equals 10x plus 5. And so that is your post, and go ahead and post it. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.